Hello, I'm Mike Cradock, and today we'll be going to show you how to glue tyres, everyone's favourite job, but I can show you my way of doing it and a few tips as well, what to do with foam and other gluing and balancing techniques. Okay, so we're gluing. You need your wheels, obviously, a tyre of your choice, premium aka tyre glue, tyre bands, inserts, clean tissue, cleaning cloth for the rubber, aka pump bottle with acetone, a good acetone which will degrease the inside of the tyre, we'll show that later, balancing and aka balancing clay, and a good hole punch, and this is what I use to put the balancing clay in. You'll see me use that later and that will help. Okay, so you get your tyre. You can see this one is the soft impact. So what I do is I always turn the tyre inside out. I find it easier to clean and prepare. Also, you'll see people, they put the holes in many places to vent the tyre, because when the tyre gets hot, if it's a perfect seal, it will expand and balloon out. I use quite a big hole, and I prefer to put the hole in the side. So I cut one hole there, and then I'll cut another hole the other side, directly opposite. The reason I do it in the side for is what I've found, and I've seen other people do it as well, is it seems to keep the insert clean from dust. Even in wet weather, I've noticed that the insert comes out as good as new. With this, like when you have the hole in there, it seems like it lets a lot of dirt in, and the insert gets quite roughed up and damaged for the wet weather. If you wanted to reuse them again, some people say that the insert works better if you use them again, which I probably agree with as well. Another tip, if you're in really slippery conditions, is you turn the insert inside out, and you cut these ribs off here. What you're doing is you're making the insert sit lower on the wheel, and hence that's a lower tyre pressure. Basically, this is your tyre pressure. Another tip, if you're finding the conditions quite grippy, on high grip, but you don't really want to go up another compound, you can see the profile of the tyre with the insert in, it changes. So if you want to change the profile of the tyre, if you get one of the aka gluing bands and you put this in the middle, you can set that in the middle. What that does is that will make the insert a little bit more, just get a bit of super glue and dab it around here, and what that'll do is make the, it's only the smallest, but it'll make the foam profile more rounded, so that when it's on the tyre, it'll make the tyre rounded, so that you're not getting the square edge, you're getting a little bit more, so that the tyre doesn't bite so much into the hard or high speed corners on high grip. Okay, so that's just a few tips on the inserts that we do. Obviously there's a black insert, which is a harder insert, and this is classed as the soft insert. So once you've done that, once you've done all of the tyres, you repeat all the same. I turn that inside out, like I said. You get your pump action bottle, turn that round, give it plenty of cloth. It's quite a good pump action, you see, plenty of that, and then just get, so it's easier that way rather than try and wipe it on there, and you can see the release agent coming off the tyre. That's the most important thing for gluing, is you get the release agent off. This is why I turn the tyre inside out. I just find it so much easier, and you can see, and the same again on this side. If you glue it, if you can see like the same sort of colour coming off your glue, you haven't glued your tyres properly. You haven't cleaned the tyre properly, and you need to redo it again if you can see that instantly. So make sure you give the tyre a good clean. And you can see it's a nice shine on the rubber then. A lot of people Dremel the tyres. I disagree with Dremeling the tyre. because all you're doing is you're roughing up and de-gluing the rubber, and then the Dremel is heating the rubber up, and then it's sticking back down again. So, but it's not a full rubber again. So basically, you're gluing the filings of rubber onto it. So you'll wonder why your tyre comes unglued, is because it's not stuck to the tyre properly and just sticking to the rim. So I disagree with the Dremeling, but that's my preference. Other people have done it for many years and got away with it, so not a problem. So once you've done that, put the insert on. Again, I find that easier to do that rather than stuffing it in the inside of the tyre, and you can make sure the insert's nice and in the right position. Then what I do with the venting is I always make sure that goes on the inside so that it doesn't catch any rocks or anything and cut the tyre. And I just lay that down over there, pull that over, just wrap that over like that, and you've got the vent on the inside. Then you can see that quite clearly. Then just make sure that you don't get the insert in between the rim. Just flick that down. You don't want it, I'll show it for example, you get it like that, you don't want it sitting like that. You want to make sure that the insert's well inside the tyre, and make sure it's seating right the way down flush. Once you're happy with that, I'll just give it a quick bash down there, make sure it's all square. Same again on the other side, and that's ready for gluing. Okay, so once you've prepped all your tyres, they're all squared up and everything ready to go, you need to get your glue ready. You should get a nozzle with this, sellotape to the aka glue. So what I do is I just cut enough off, don't use all the whole nozzle because you can use a few times then. Undo your glue. If you want to keep your glue good as well, keep it in the fridge. Works good, as long as you don't get in trouble with your mum or your wife, it's not a problem. Just insert that, and that gives you the right length to get down to the bottom, and it'll put the right amount on. A lot of people put the glue bands on first. I prefer afterwards because you can get the glue right down. With the glue bands, it seems to limit how much you can get the tyre open in the bead to get it round. So you just drop it in there, and that gives you, it should give you the right amount. If you press just the right amount of pressure, you should get the hang of it. You can see a bit of glue coming out there then, but it's better to have too much than not enough. But you're getting the glue right the way down the bottom, and that's the old objective of it. And then this way, if you just pull it open gently, you're keeping the tyre pretty flush with the rim. And you can see where you've come up to it. Once you've got it like that, just press the tyre, make sure you see it coming up. You can see that the glue's pretty clean. You can see a little bit of that, the coke sort of looking that I was saying, but it's mainly clean. It's when it comes out really dark that it's showing. So you make sure you've got all the glue there, then you put your tyre band on. Put it around to the top, and you can see all the glue eases out then and holds it in position. And like I was saying before, if you have the tyre band on, and then it makes it harder to pull apart, then just get a cloth, make sure it shouldn't stick to the rim, but just be careful of that, but just wipe it round, just take the excess off. It won't hurt if it goes over the tyre and over the rim, and it gives it a good seal then. And then just leave that one, put that one to one side, and then you go to the next one. Again, just pull it apart, make sure you get the nozzle right down the bottom. If you get, you'll get the hang of how much glue to put in, and then you won't have so much excess. And come to that bit, and again just squeeze the excess out. The glue's looking fairly clean again. If you don't see any glue come out when you squeeze it, then just open the tyre back up, because you get a bit of time with this aka glue. It's pretty good. So you're happy with that. Again, you'll see the glue come out again when we put the tyre band on. Just make sure it's at the top you can. If you want to make sure it's a better seal, you can push up as well. And again, wipe off the excess. go. So you repeat that with the other two, and then you'll go on to the back. So you've glued all your first side. Obviously this was the last one, this was the first one. It's dry to the touch, so I just flip it over, make sure that that's all level, and repeat the procedure again, making sure you get it down to the bead. Okay, press it there so you get the excess glue. Get your cloth and give it a wipe because it's on the inside this time. There's nowhere for the glue to go other than the inside. You don't want it all running down there. You should get a bit more excess when you put it on there. Put your tyre band on. You can see a little bit more glue come to the surface, which is a good sign that you've got plenty of glue on. Give that another wipe round quickly, don't let it stick. Then repeat this procedure again all the way through, and then we'll go on to balancing. Okay, so now you're ready for balancing. So another tip for you as well, by this time you would have wiped off the green or the red or the markings for the compound of the tyre. So originally we started off with soft, this is a soft. So what I do is I get a Sharpie pen and I put it on there. And it's quite good there, you got your tyre marked up, you know what compound that is straight away by looking at it, and it doesn't come off, it doesn't wipe off. It's really hard to get out of there, so it's quite good. So take your band off. Balancing the tyre, some people don't do it, some people do it, but I don't think you would run your car, your normal car, with it unbalanced. I think if anyone's had a wheel weight come off of their car, you can feel it on the steering wheel or shaking the car to bits, so you can imagine what it does to a model car. It doesn't matter where you set it up, but I always keep it in the same place, so that if you've got your mat like that, it doesn't matter, but I always put the balancing in the same place every time, so that when you're in a field you're never going to get a level table, but at least you know you're putting it in the same spot all the time when you're balancing. So once the wheel's found its weight level, I slow it down a bit in the end because I can't wait that long. So, and depending on the speed tells you how much weight. So that looks quite a medium weight, so I'd say it's about the size of a pea to start off with. So you just mark the bottom of the tyre, and this is where we get the knife out, which is quite handy. So I'm going to take a lump off the size of a pea, roll it into a ball, and then you get the opposite side, you can see directly down, which is right in between. The more accurate you get this, the easier it is for putting the weight on. Then just put in the same place again. You can see that I put a little bit too much weight on because it's dropping down now to that point. So this is where the knife comes in handy. I just clip a little bit off of that side and a little bit off of that side. Still a little bit too heavy, so I'll clip another bit off. It looks like there's only a little bit needs coming off. So just clip a bit off, put it back down, then put it to 4 points. It looks like it's pretty much balanced. So that's pretty good. If you get it where it settles to one side and then it moves to the other side, it's telling you that the weight is just slightly off center where you got it. You've got the right amount of weight. So what you need to do is if it's going that way, you need to put the weight the other way. So you just get the clay and just force it over a little bit further over that way, and then see if that improves the situation. You can see that's pretty well balanced. It's staying in most points, and that's that done. So this is why you wonder why some of the team drivers glue their own tyres, is because they can cut the inserts how they want. They can do different things to the inserts inside and get it right, and they can balance it and mark it up. But I'd say with the AKA tyres, I think they're the best glued tyres in the world. And I'm not just saying that because we use them, but I think they are. I've never seen any come unglued, and if you do have any ungluing problems, there should be a decal inside of the wheel, and that will give you a guarantee that if they do come unglued, if it has the decal inside, it will be guaranteed that you'll get a replacement.